All right, everybody. Welcome to another video podcast of Alexandra Mayers Live Art Edition. Tonight, I'm going to be doing a little bit of clay sculpting because it's very therapeutic for me and because that's just where my art is moving nowadays. This manicure is going to hell. But anyone who's watching, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this particular podcast. The piece I'm working on is titled Tree of Energy. I started it around a month ago, but I got sidetracked with some other projects that are important to me. You could basically call me Little Miss Projects because I'm always working on stuff. Let me go ahead and show you guys the progress so far. This is just the base of it. And it's hard to tell what it's going to look like really until I get some color on it when I start painting it. But of course, I've got to finish sculpting it first. But the inspiration of this particular piece comes from a actual tree that I saw, that I got to know when I was spending some time in the Florida Keys not too long ago. And while I'm sculpting, by the way, I am listening to Audio Machine because I just love Audio Machine. They create some beautiful instrumental tracks. Gorgeous instrumental tracks, actually. And when I sculpt, I don't necessarily like to, well, when I do any art, really, I don't like to listen to music that has words. I just like to listen to music that is instrumental. It inspires me and whatnot. Now, this particular piece, it's going to be small to medium sized once it's complete. But it's going to end up being kind of heavy, I think, considering the way that I have to put it together. So right now I'm just kind of working on the base of it. It's just going to really be the bottom portion of a tree. It's going to be kind of a fantasy, elfin kind of tree. So you'll really see what I'm talking about, like I said, once I start painting it and whatnot. But I have to finish the base. But let's see. Let's just talk about how I've been doing and everything. I've been doing great. I had a very good weekend. It was relaxing yet productive. I've been spending time with my family, my little birds, the littles, Sunny and Corey. And I've been very focused lately on my health. Not so much my fitness as far as losing weight and, you know, gaining muscle and all that kind of stuff, but just my overall health. And I've discovered a few natural remedies, which I will be sharing with all of you, but not quite yet, mainly because there is a very interesting woman that I'm starting a new project with shortly. And the new project is really going to be about her and her message that she's putting out there to the world. She's a motivational speaker. She is a playwright. She is a bit older than I am, but she has come up with some very interesting concepts over the years that I feel that the world really needs to hear. Primarily women of all backgrounds, all ethnic origins, everything. She's primarily focused on Africa and things having to do with Africa, at least for now. But she is looking to cross cultural boundaries, which is a good thing, because I think it's important for everyone of every culture, every ethnic origin, to understand where they come from. But in the end, we're all human beings, and we all have far more similarities than we do differences. I think that's something that our current political environment is not focusing on, unlike the Obama administration did, which I find to be a bit unfortunate. But, you know, there's agendas behind everything, and that's what I try to remember nowadays in life. Even though at times it can be a little bit disappointing and frustrating when you see how people utilize what separates us in order to gain momentum, gain popularity, or gain ground. So much hypocrisy. You know, and I think as human beings, that's a flaw that we all have. We all can find ourselves becoming relatively hypocritical at times. But there's a difference between hypocrisy and change and evolving. You know, I think hypocrisy is when you haven't really evolved or changed, and you're just kind of spewing the popular opinion just so that you can be liked or accepted, or attain support from whoever it is that you desire to attain support from. But then there's actual change within an individual and evolution. And that change and evolution is what I feel is paramount to be becoming and being a solid human being. Becoming and being a solid human being. Sounds like song lyrics, doesn't it? Everything's a song lyric. Everything. Everything and nothing. Because what's a song? Song's just life. And for those of you who are not aware, I'm also a songwriter and a vocalist. And I play several musical instruments. Mainly keyboard. But I'm getting more so into percussion nowadays because, you know, I like beats, because a lot of times I want to beat the living hell out of people. For whatever reason, I can't do that. So at least I can beat my energy into some other energy, change some vibrational waves and whatnot. Ooh, it is frustrating to be a woman at times in a man's world. But it's not always going to be a man's world. I think that's part of the problem that we're running into right now. We are shifting quite quickly from a patriarchy into a matriarchy. And those who are dependent, basically, upon the patriarchy remaining intact in order to continue to maneuver in this world unjustly, they are screaming bloody murder because they don't want that shift to happen, but can't stop a freight train moving at the pace of a speeding bullet. And that is what is happening on Earth right now, and it is about time. Long overdue. Long overdue, actually. Alrighty. Yeah, this is going to be freaking beautiful. Glad I made the bass heavy. All right. So for those of you who haven't been keeping up with me, there is a new media network that I recently developed. It's called the PNT Live Network. You can check that out on pntlive.net. There's various podcasts that I've already produced that are linked up on there, podcasts that I'm currently working on that are on there, along with some links to some past podcast collaborations I've done, and quite the beautiful soul known as Melissa Hill. I have her little, not little, because she has quite the massive following, but I have her podcast linked up on there. So I hope that many of you take the time to get to know who she is, get to know who I am, you know, see what's going on in this world. It's very important to do. Very, very important to do. But yeah, I have some interesting podcasts coming up. Very interesting. Because I'm really closing out a lot of my investigative journalism and blogging when it comes to the adult entertainment industry, because there's very little else for me to say, because there's just so much hypocrisy and crime, and sometimes it's worth looking into something to try to make some change. But I've done so much over the years that, you know, I think I've done all I can. But there's just a handful, really, a handful of individuals to where the truth about who they are and what they've been up to really does need to be documented properly. So that's something that I'll be finishing up. But after that, I will be primarily working on podcasts pertaining to politics, art, and the evolution of spirit. Maybe a few things having to do with music, but really just those three things: politics, art, and the evolution of spirit, because that is what's paramount at this point, at least in my life. I don't know what's going on so much with others. At this stage, I'm also primarily output only. I do value others' opinions, but at this stage in my life, I'm just interested in people knowing a bit of what's on my mind. All right. Yeah. Make some ridges in this. So what else can I talk about? Just feeling pretty good. Feeling good about myself. Good about where my life may or may not be headed. Really hoping to do some traveling toward the end of the summer and throughout the end of the year, and very heavily all next year. There's a few places in America and abroad that I'd like to see and visit. Because I need some fresh energy in my being and in my life. Okay. Just so you guys get an idea as far as what's going on here. I'm back on Facebook, for those of you who do not know. I am back on Facebook, and you can find me under Alex Mayers Live or Alexandra Mayers. I think my Facebook page address is facebook.com/Alex Mayers Live. So if you're the kind of person that thinks that I might want to be your friend on Facebook, go ahead and send me a friend request. I don't accept everybody as a friend on Facebook. Not because I'm mean, but because just not everybody's energy vibes with mine. And I'm very aware of that. And there's nothing wrong with not getting along with everybody. Just as there are those of us who are super likable and super well received, they're the opposites. I think I fit into the category of being the opposite, of being well received. I'm a-okay with that, because there have been times in my life to where I've been incredibly well received. So I do know that what that feels like and what that is. I enjoyed that for quite some time. And at this point, considering things that are important to me, I'm okay if other people have decided that they want to write me off due to not agreeing with what's important to me. Because what's important to me just may be more important than they are. At least within my mind and from my perspective. We'll do the ridges on the back of this another day or another time, because making these branches is going to be an interesting task. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to have to add some more weight to the bottom. This on this side. A movie that I saw recently that I thought was incredibly interesting was a movie called The Mortal Instruments. I think it was marketed as a teen movie, but it was actually quite mature and a bit risque, especially at the end, considering some of the themes. But I was impressed with it. Beautiful, beautiful music within the movie. The instrumental score. I was quite impressed by that. It kind of encompassed everything from angels to demons to vampires and werewolves. It was a wild ride. I've been catching up lately on a lot of movies that I didn't have the chance to see a few years ago that I planned on seeing, but I had so many other things going on in my life. So now I'm getting to watch them, and there's a lot of movies that are just so good, so well done. But The Mortal Instruments, I highly recommend that. if you're into theology, but also if you're into fantasy. There's a bit of work I need to get done between tonight and tomorrow, but I'm at least going to try to get a little preview of the next song that I put out, posted on my Twitter at Alex Mayers Live. It's called It's Just Tuesday, and it's such a fun melody. Such a fun melody because I am putting out a musical album to where each song will center around a day of the week. But It's Just Tuesday kind of has to do with a brief relationship that I had, but it also has to do with some hopes I have for the future. I hope many of you will enjoy it. Actually, when I think about it, the song kind of centers around the littles, my little parakeets, who I love. They are doing really well. I mean, for those of you who don't know the background, I had Corey, the bluebird, for about 3 years. And he was just getting to a point to where he seemed so just lackluster and sad. And I didn't know if he was sick or what, but then I realized he needed a friend or a mate. So I rescued Sunny, the green and yellow one, and she has just perked him up like you wouldn't believe. It's such a testament to how we do need people in our lives. We need others like us in our lives. And just watching them chatter all day, interact, they dance, sometimes they fight, but they're just a cute little bird couple. That's what they are. And you'll hear a little bit about them in It's Just Tuesday. You'll hear a bit about them. Oh, this is nice. Okay. I love creating art because once you see it really starting to come together and take form, it just makes you feel so good. All right. Tree of energy is becoming energized. So I can't say that there's too much really going on with me right now. I'm just living life, feeling great, doing my thing. Couldn't really ask for much more. Without a doubt, I am fortunate. Oh, this is turning out great. Here, I'll show you what I've done so far. I know a lot of you are like, how is that going to be a tree? But just subscribe to youtube.com/Alexandra Mayers to continue watching the progress. Because when it comes to this piece, I think many of you are going to be quite surprised as to how beautiful it turns out. After I complete this piece, I'll be working on something very special. It will be a series of very small sculptures that are presented in a very interesting way. I'm not going to reveal too much about them, not yet, but I will have them for sale through probably Etsy or something. Or maybe you could just buy them directly from me if you want to send through PayPal or whatever. I'm not sure how exactly I'm going to go about the sale of my art, but these will be very special. So when it comes to Tree of Energy, I might sell this piece. I don't know yet. It depends on how many sessions it takes me to finish it and how much I like it once it's completed. Actually, Tree of Energy is a bit of a it's part of idea I have for a houseware product also. So this is kind of the first stage of it. There will be some houseware products I create, probably not till next year when I think about it, but that will have a bit to do with the concept of this particular sculpture. So, you know, I'll have that coming up at some point next year. You know what I forgot to mention? I recently posted my 2019 version, my rendition, my cover of one of my favorite songs in the world called Last Unicorn. You can find that on soundcloud.com/Alexandra Mayers. I think it turned out nice. It's such a simple song. My take on it was a little dramatic because, well, I like drama. Deep drama. And that's what you will hear in that particular track. A bit of deep drama. You know what? I think I was just going to make this to where it was pleasing to the eye from the front, but I might as well make it pleasing to the eye from the back too. Why not? Why not? Because we're not just in the third dimension. We are shifting into the fourth dimension, babies. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And it's a great thing. It might scare some people, but it doesn't scare me. Oops. Oh, shit. Meant to be. Not even worried about it. Yeah, I need to set this in a position now to where I can't move it much as I continue, because it's getting to that phase. This. Okay, which way am I going to set this so it doesn't matter? Let's continue to set it like this. Yeah. All right. Well, this is better anyway. One thing you must remember when you are working with clay or doing any art project is that there's no such thing as right or wrong. There's no such thing as you messing up your project. It's all meant to come out exactly as it does, because we as human beings are not computers. We are not meant to be perfect, and if you're trying to achieve perfection, then you got a problem. Because I think the perfection is in the imperfections of everything. There's so many things in life I get frustrated about, but the older I get, the less frustrated I'm becoming, and the more I am just laughing my ass off about so many things. Truly, so many things. Probably should have changed my shirt before I got started, because I'm getting clay all over me. But that's okay. I think Sunny just flew over here to see what's going on. And then she flew right back to her friend, Mr. Karn. All right. Yeah, I'll have to turn this whole piece of newspaper around for me to show y'all where we're at. But I'm trying to make some branches on this tree. Do I want to add anything else to the back? Yeah, I do actually want to add some more to the back. more than that. That last painting I did, I wound up altering a bit. You can check out the end result on alexandraoriginals.com. I think the next painting I'm going to create will be of the face of the individual I painted in my last painting. And the individual I painted in my last painting, to my knowledge, does not exist. Maybe he does somewhere, but it's just an ideal of a person that I have in my mind, which is always fun to do. There we go. I think the last time I was painting, I was talking about how I just don't think that there's going to be anything else in my life that's really too exciting. And that leaves me with a little bit of a melancholy, odd feeling. But I might have been wrong. Maybe there will be something else in my life that takes me into some major highs. Hopefully not any major lows. But yeah. Oh, this is much better. I'll turn it all the way so y'all can get a little gander. That's where we're at now. Put some in the front. Do I want to? I do. I'm really looking forward to the holidays. I say that every year, but that's the reason why I think I stick around, is because I just love the holiday season. As soon as we hit July, I'm like, yes, only a few more months until Christmas. And I live for Christmas. Yes, that's what I need to do. Okay. I really do. I live for Christmas. And this, I feel like, will be a particularly wonderful holiday season. I just have a feeling. No particular reason why I think this, but I just do. Some advice for artists tonight, because I always like to offer a little advice whenever I do a podcast to my younger peers. Never, ever, as an artist, allow anyone into your life who does not encourage you to pursue your art. Okay? If you are passionate about your art, no matter what is going on in your life, make sure that you only surround yourself with people who encourage what you're up to, who compliment your art, and who enable you to pursue your art and your dreams. That's very important, because being an artist is one of the most difficult things to do on earth nowadays. At least in my opinion, it is. But it's an important thing to do, because I think that nowadays the world is tremendously lacking creative people. You have a lot of people who are skilled but not creative. I think some people could be much more creative than they are, but they don't allow themselves to be. They're so caught up in other things that truly are not important in the grand scheme of things. But it depends on what level you want to live on, of course, when it comes to anything. But if you live on a similar level to myself, if things I'm saying resonate with you, take stock of who's in your life. Decide who's toxic and do what you need to do to get them out of your life, or at least keep them at a distance. That can be a hard thing to figure out and a hard thing to do, but sometimes you have to do it for your own survival. Because that's a big part of what being human is too. Survival of the fittest. I'm silly. But seriously. You know, but move at your own pace. You don't have to cut people out right away. You can do so slowly. And remember, when it comes to a toxic person who knows that they are draining you in some capacity, it's better to slowly back away than to cut them out, you know, completely all at once, because that can help you avoid being chased or stalked by such an individual. Sometimes people who believe that they love you, and who may love you to the best of their capacity, hold you back in life. And I think a reason for that has to do with people fearing change at times. Some people are really majorly afraid of change. I'm not. Never have been. I welcome it. But then again, I'm a little ahead of my time. If you ever wonder, why is she so weird? Because I believe I might have been born in the wrong time. Or maybe my core is from a different time. I'm sure everything's the right time, because everything's for a reason. Oh, this is so much better. I love this base I created for this. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I was only planning on working on this till about 10:30, but I might work on it a little bit longer because it is turning out so well, what I'm doing tonight. So much clean my hands. Yeah. This piece is a little thick. Yeah. Sometimes you get so much clay on your hands that you lose your own dexterity. But it's fun. All right. Now I can go ahead and work on what we need to work on up top. I'm glad I took the time to really work that base out, because it's interesting. Very interesting. I initially texturized so much of this, and I might end up going back over it and making it smooth. I'm not sure, because I do like the look of the smoothness, but the texture might make it extra special. So we'll see. That's really not something I need to think about today as I work on Tree of Energy. What is a Tree of Energy? I don't know. That's what this is. Who lives in the Tree of Energy? That's something to think about. I might have to find some sort of oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Not telling, but when it comes to the foliage that's going to be on this thing, oh my god, I just came up with the best freaking idea. It's such a good idea that, I mean, when I finish this thing, I don't even think I'm going to be able to ever sell it, because I don't know how I would move it when I think about how I really want to work this. Because I was thinking, I'm like, man, if I put foliage on this thing, it would be so delicate. I mean, I'd have to make it almost light as air. But then I just figured out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know how I could make it light as air. But really, this is going to be a tree of energy to where you only get to see the bottom portions of it. It won't be like the whole tree. But then again, it might end up being the whole tree. Sometimes when I start something, I have a certain idea for it, but then it totally transforms into something way better. But that's how art goes. Yes, it is. Okay. Some of you are probably like, that's an awful gnarly looking tree, Alexandra. And to those of you who are thinking that, oh yeah, it is a gnarly looking tree. That is the intention. Yeah. Keep grabbing. Mhm. Okay. I'll let y'all see it from the front. It's shaking up. Slowly but surely. I almost wasn't going to work on this tonight, but I just felt like, well, I already scheduled the podcast. I do need to work on this piece majorly, so I am, and I'm so glad that I decided to take the time to do so, because it's feeling good putting together. Sometimes you just know when something's going to turn out well because of how it feels during the creative process, and this is one of those moments. My little birds are getting ready to start going crazy again tonight. They are flying all over the place. If you hear like a kind of sound, that's them. I don't know what they're up to. Tell you this, they better not try to perch on this thing. Because knowing them, they think everything's for them. But who am I kidding? Quite a bit of what I do is for them. They're my little birds. One of these days soon, I'm going to take a nice self-portrait set of myself, because nowadays I'm really pleased with my overall physical appearance. And I know it shouldn't bother me so much, but I'm human, it does. It bothers me that certain people who dislike me for whatever reasons feel the need to say that I'm ugly or fat or that I'm not aging well. Bitch, please. First off, I'm 40 years old, and most people think that I'm either in my late 20s or early 30s. Secondly, I'm far from fat. Sometimes you just got to do stuff for you, and that's something I want to do, because I swear, these people who are saying this stuff about me, who have said so many mean things about me over the years, I know who they are and I know what they look like. And it's like, really? You already made money off me when I made certain choices in my life, which really I was too good to make. And now, even though you're still profiting off my image from then, you're going to try to libel my image today, say that I'm something that I'm not. I don't think so. So yeah, that's something that will be coming up, because you know, if you're going to say something bad about me, make sure that what you say is true, because there's plenty of things that I'm sure are not good about me that are true. But don't say false things. And especially do not call me fat. And do not call me unattractive. And do not say I haven't aged well, because the reality is just the opposite. It's amazing how, especially men, can be when you turn them down. Not just when it comes to sexual relations, but when it comes to working with them, just quite a bit. It's just disgusting, really. It's disgusting how certain people can be. Start with a smaller piece. But I will combat such negativity said about myself, because I don't deserve it. No one does. But displaying myself, showing my own physicality when I decide to do so, it's not about trying to attract anyone into my life, because I'm really kind of strangely over that phase. Not to say that I won't re-enter that phase at some point in the future, but still. It's just about showing who I am. Because I feel like so many of you have followed me for so long anyway. Might as well give you the full effect. Which is really something I haven't done. Because, to be honest with you, I'm quite overwhelming for many, especially in person. Which is why I've been careful to be kind. I've tried. Some people are not very grateful or smart. Oh, this is turning out so nice. So glad I decided to work on this tonight. Sculpting this tree is almost like watching something grow, isn't it? Maybe one day I'll sculpt a child for myself, and I'll be like Diana's mother in Wonder Woman. My child will say to me one day, "Mother, how did I ever come to be?" And I will say, little girl, I sculpted you with my own 2 hands out of clay. You don't even have a father. You're all me. I created you. She'll be like, you're so silly. I'll be like, I know. I know. Yeah. All right, we're nearing the end of what we're going to work on tonight because I have to let a lot of this dry, harden. I got to make sure it's balanced. There's a lot of stuff going on over here. But I hope all of you enjoyed watching me work tonight. Hope you enjoyed virtually coming over to visit. So that's all it is. Just me inviting y'all over virtually. What I love about pre-recorded videos is that even if you don't watch me at this very moment, you can watch it later. So I'm still in your life at another time. Another time, another place. Maybe a little supporting piece in front. My birds are kind of making a rhythm today. It's interesting. But they're about ready to go back into their little cages, into their little nest. They like to be out for a while, but they don't like to be out too long. Not at all. Not at all. They're homebodies. Not too much unlike myself. Yeah, I'll probably work on this again. I don't know, maybe Friday. because I've set up some Facebook Live video feeds, and I just haven't had a chance to go on there yet. I meant to go on last Friday, but some other things were going on, so I didn't. But this Friday I'll try to, because I would like to get into the main phases of this, because it's turning out very well. Very surprised, but I'm glad. Tree of Energy. That's what it is. Tree of Energy. It will be soon. An incredible tree of energy it will be. Right now, it looks kind of like a hand, at least on the video. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a tree of energy grabbing something. All right, that's enough for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching another podcast of Alexandra Mayers Live, Clay Sculpting Edition. And I'll take a picture of this from a few angles and stick it on my Twitter at Alex Mayers Live for y'all to check out. That's about it. I'm gonna wash my hands, try to get this clay off, and catch y'all later. Bye-bye.